You're listening to 101.5 The Mix-Up, oldies country and hardcore independent rap. You know what that sound means? We got another rock block of 2 hours of noise coming up.
Zachary Little.
Shit. Okay, so starting a new enterprise is difficult? Don't believe me? Ask the crew of the USS Enterprise. Took a long time to build that ship. And I've been thinking to myself, like, how do I make sure that the first episode of my podcast is dynamic and interesting? It doesn't have, you know, all those first episode of a podcast rookie mistakes. And then I thought, well, you know, I could record the third episode of my podcast first. So that's what I'm doing. Welcome to episode 3 of whatever this podcast ends up being called.
Yes, I've interviewed
It is an afternoon in early October. I'm on a walk with my dog, Shoshana. Usual shit. Leaves on the ground, leaves on the trees, too. They're in both places. I'm on a walk to catch up with my friend Dan. If you want to follow him on Twitter, it's my friend Dan. Don't you like that? Like when a guy brings friendship to you kind of forcibly? I mean, just by looking for him online, you're already his friend. You're trapped, rhetorically, in friendship.
Sorry, Chief, I didn't get that.
Let's get some walking through leaves sound effects to add into this, okay?
I didn't quite get that.
So yeah, it's October. I want you to have no trouble conceptualizing that when you're listening to this podcast. So, it's October, it's fall. The weather is sort of always a little bit moody and indifferent, like a teenager. The number of pumpkin spice products available at Trader Joe's is so insane as to seem like it's a deliberate provocation, like maybe fucking Banksy's involved somehow. It's October, you get it.
Please visit eu.edu.
I'm meeting Dan down at the library because I had to return a book. It was called I Was a Revolutionary by Andrew Mallon Millward. It was great. Listen, here's the sound of me returning the book very lovingly. Now seems like a good enough time to do a book segment, right? Let's do a book segment. By the way, do you want to go by Ophelia or do you want to go by Chelsea? Like what?
I mean, it's up to you, but I am called Chelsea.
And like your books are published under the name Chelsea Fisher, right?
Yeah, although they tried to publish it under the name Ophelia Dagger. And I was like, dude, I'm not writing like teen vampire fiction. That is absurd.
Well, I mean, are you sure you should have explored maybe whether or not that would have been, you would have made a little more money?
I mean, obviously, my next novel is teen vampire fiction.
Yeah.
Well, is there like a vibe to this? Like, where are we?
Where are we?
Yeah, like, are we in a coffee shop? Are we walking down the street?
We're talking to each other over the internet.
Oh shit, is this what this is?
So, but yeah, I guess it's like a walking down the street, but my concept was, I was thinking that I wanted to talk to you about like 5 books that you've read recently that you like.
Oh, you should have gave me, you should have told me this yesterday so I could have prepared something interesting and insightful to say. Also comedic. I want to put some jokes in there. I'll do some Wikipedia research.
I think it'll happen, because we can just talk about books in general, because I am like actually reading books this year, and that's kind of rare for me.
How many have you got through?
Like over a dozen, which is a lot for me. I know you read like 60 books a year or something. What are you at so far?
I don't know, but I haven't read much at all.
Because I remember at the beginning of the year, I said something about wanting to read more books, and you said like, "Oh, do you want to do the book a week challenge with me?" or something.
Oh yeah.
So that's a distant memory.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, that is. I mean, like, one thing you need to know about me is I have no memory. Mm-hmm. So like the fact that I don't remember the last book I read doesn't mean I didn't read one recently. It just means that my brain's gone. Mm-hmm. That's done. Delete it. But yeah, I'm glad that we didn't do that, because I would have failed severely.
Yeah, no.
You backed out of that straight away.
Yeah, no.
You were just like, nah.
I knew for sure. I think at the time I was reading the oral history of SNL.
which I'm
Oh.
still reading because it's like 1,000 pages. It's the infinite jest of comedy books.
Yeah. Have you read Infinite Jest?
And I've read about 300 pages of Infinite Jest. You know,
Yeah.
I read.
I think that's par for the course.
I read, although of course you end up becoming yourself, which is that interview that the movie that just came out is based on.
Oh, I saw the movie. I have not read the interview.
You did it right because I read the book and then I saw the movie right after, and it is verbatim for an hour of the movie, and then when it breaks from the source material, it is very obvious.
Oh, like, does it seem false?
Yeah, it felt very false, and I couldn't get over it because I was really excited about that movie, and
So did it seem like it was trying to, like, add some emotion that wasn't
yeah,
there?
totally.
Oh,
Because there's
that's awful.
there's nothing, you know what I mean, in the book. There's no any interpersonal drama is only very hinted at because it's a straight transcript. So you don't
Yeah.
always know what kind of attitude either one of them was bringing to the conversation. And so, I mean, it may be that the actual interview and everything was as testy as the movie makes it seem, but that was not the way that I read it.
Like the whole time the interviewer was sticking his finger up at David Foster Wallace, but that's not in the book. You can't see that.
Right. Yeah.
So
And so,
did you? I don't know. I really love the movie.
yeah, I often think
You ruined
that-
it for me now.
Well, you already saw it, so you know what I mean? Like, I didn't ruin it before you saw it, at least.
Siri, remind me to talk on this podcast at some point about how, like, seeing a movie for the first time is one of life's most fleeting and pleasurable experiences. And I'm not talking about, like, you only get to see an M. Night Shyamalan movie once before you know what the fucking dumbass twist is. I'm just saying, like, in general, this world unfolding before your eyes for the first time in a movie, it's particularly strong the first time, and, like, the drop-off, I think, the returns are more diminishing. Yes, movies can be rewarding after repeat viewings, but rewarding in, like, a different, shittier way. Not like rereading a book. And not like listening to a song again. I actually kind of feel like most songs take 2 or 3 listens before you can really even start to appreciate them. And the most, like, ecstatic listening experience I've ever had with great songs have never been with a song I was hearing for the first time. It's a song I've heard like 4 or 5 times, and I've only begun to appreciate its greatness. And then suddenly it's like, wow, now I can really tell, like, how great this song is.
I didn't quite get that.
No, but you've tainted my, like, I saw that movie and I was like, I've never related to anyone as much as I relate to David Foster Wallace. And now, I'm not even sure if that was David Foster Wallace.
Well, then this whole thing can be redeemed because you can read the book now.
Yeah, but I didn't really like the interviewer guy. Which could just be Jesse Eisenberg.
Siri, remind me at some point to follow up with Chelsea and find out if she doesn't like Jesse Eisenberg, because he is our generation's most gifted actor.
I didn't quite get that.
Does it make him seem as brilliant as his essays, or is it sort of a more casual?
I think it does, but you can see him trying to control what the article's about.
Yeah.
And so I think he restates himself a lot more than he does in like an essay.
Yeah, I guess he was really self-aware and like he specifically wanted to cultivate this image of sort of like an intellectual who, you know, obviously didn't want to say that he was intellectual, but did. He had that sort of like divide within himself where he was like, I need people to know that I'm smart, but I don't want it to be like I'm the smartest. Like, because I'm intelligent, I'm aware of my shortcomings as well.
Yeah.
And that dichotomy was really difficult for him to portray. For like, well, that's what this seemed the movie was about.
And I think I get, like, have you ever been, it's funny that I'm asking you this right now, have you ever been, like, interviewed for anything and then had it edited in any way?
Section of Conde and Braid Field waiting until further notice.
I don't think so. Not that comes to mind.
Yeah, well, I had, like, an experience in college. My, like, one of the school, like, culture paper interviewed me about Rock and Sock and Robot. And
The glory.
Yeah, I spoke very casually and very, like, I did not imagine that it was going to be, like, a straight transcript. And then it was, and I was, like, horrified. Because I just assumed they were going to put a couple of quotes from me, you know, into, like, a little blurb.
Yeah.
Not that they were going to, like, reproduce the whole conversation. And so when I read it back, I was like, I sound like such an idiot.
That's like almost the opposite of the usual problem, where they just take like a line out of context.
Right.
You've literally written what I
would
said.
rather be taken
sound
out
like
of
a fool.
context.
I had recently, well, my publisher wrote my bio, and because I'm me, I couldn't be bothered to read it when they sent it to me to check. I was just like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And then I discovered a little bit later, like today, they sent me an email saying, oh, we want to do some promotional material. Can you write, an article about the 2 years you spent sort of drinking and unemployed and depressed? And I was like, no, I don't want that to be public knowledge, because I'm trying to get a job right now and I'd like a career, and I don't really want that to be the first thing that comes up about me when you Google Chelsea Fisher.
Right.
And they were like, oh, but it's in your bio. And I was like, why the fuck is it in my bio? Well, you told us. Yeah, I told you so you would know why I wrote the book that I did, so you would publish me, because it sounds like I have an authority on the subject. I didn't mean put it in my fucking Amazon tag.
I just read this book that was called I Was a Revolutionary, and it's like historical fiction. And so the thing is, it's a bunch of short stories. They're all set in Kansas in different times, different historical periods. And
oh, that sounds wonderful.
yeah, that's cool. And it's tied often to actual people, but fictionalized accounts. But like the characters in the stories are often like a researcher at a college or a guy who's really interested in this historical topic or something. So the line between what's real and what's historical and what's fiction is so blurry and messy that at first it was...
Is it a little bit like Assassin's Creed in that way?
What is Assassin's Creed?
Okay, don't worry about it.
It's a video game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you go in Anonymous, and then you go back in time to different time periods, and you like go inside the body of like all the people from this sort of ancestral tree. Mm-hmm. And you learn stuff about what they're doing, and you meet like Machiavelli.
This is a video game?
Yeah, I fucking love that shit.
Oh, so you go back and you kill Machiavelli?
Yeah, well, no, he helps you out. Like Da Vinci makes your knives.
Oh,
it's pretty. But let's back to books. I've already cheated.
I gotta get into video. I know I shouldn't, but I fell off of video games in like 1996.
What was the last game you played?
Like Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, probably.
Okay. I mean, that's a classic.
That's how I got friends in 5th grade, because I was good at that game, and up until that point, I had no friends, and I could show people like how to beat stuff in Zelda, and that was how I made friends.
So ironically, video games were a social lubricant for you, despite what the media would like to have you believe.
Yeah, they definitely were. That was the only way I was getting in there.
I'm really pleased for the younger you.
No, I was like a very serious, stressed out child. It took a long time for me to like unclench.
Were you diagnosed with anything like the way that a lot of American children are, but no English children are?
No, I was like just before that started to happen, you know?
Okay.
I was the kind of kid who the medical approach to me was like, he'll be fine, you know? I was still that. I had a cyst on my leg, and the doctor literally told my mother to smack it with a Bible.
So what you're telling me is that you grew up in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, like...
That's like what I'm hearing.
The turn where everybody got diagnosed and everything, it was real sharp, and it happened right after I turned like 7 years old.
Was that with the onset of the internet?
No, I think it was before that, actually. I think it was just the pharmaceutical industry went, hey, you know what? You can give every kid in the world this ADHD medicine, and it's not going to do any damage. It's basically the vitamin C.
I feel like the same thing happened to me, but with Pokemon. Like, I was the last generation that sort of, like, person in that generation that didn't get Pokemon, and then, like, whoever was born, like, the month after me, super into Pokemon.
This message is for Zachary Little. Hi, this is Aspire Resources Incorporated. Please return this call at your convenience.
So anyway, books.
Oh, yeah. What were we saying? Oh, you read a book about Kentucky.
But what I was going to ask you was, what do you feel about like historical fiction? Because I feel like I'm being just lied to. Because it's like, why bother learning if some of it's probably not true?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I love history. Like, it really, really interests me, and I would want to read a lot more about it. And the easiest way to digest that is in a narrative form. But if it's not going to be accurate to what really happened, then it's just misinformation. And I felt the same way recently when I watched Imitation Game. Like, I wanted to like it, but I have no idea how much Alan Turing was really like Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal of Alan Turing. So I was like, Alan Turing. So I was like, does this mean anything to me? I couldn't get emotionally involved because I was just thinking what is real and what isn't. Like we were saying about the end of the tour.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I actually even feel that way even in I've read some historical, like, nonfiction that is a little bit too narrative. Mm-hmm. I never read, like, Accidental Billionaires, the one that is about how Facebook started, but supposedly that book sort of projects, what Mark Zuckerberg was thinking at the time or whatever. And I just think, well, why would I ever read that? Because I'm not getting the truth. So why? It's like, yeah, it's fake learning. Although I will say, I Was a Revolutionary. Like, there's one short story in it where it's about an older gay man and his relationship with his partner as it is deteriorating. And the partner is...
Okay, so what happened here in my conversation with Chelsea is that I launched into an almost unbelievably long explanation of just one of the short stories that I read that illustrates basically the same point I've been making all along, which is...
Historical fiction being like a chore where you don't accomplish anything.
I think, but I don't know, for me, I don't even have, like, a line where I go, actually, this is okay, this is believable, because I read, well, this year I think I read Just Kids, the Patti Smith autobiography from, like, her time in, like, the 70s or whatever it was in New York, which, like, I loved it. It's brilliant. Well done, everybody involved. Really engaging story, emotional. Everyone wants that lifestyle. Like, they paid for their hotel rooms with paintings. Yes, please. But I don't remember anything. I don't remember what happened yesterday. So I'm reading that book and I'm going, well, Patty, you're a lot older than me, and this happened a lot longer ago. This is probably a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, you've gone into a lot of detail about that evening. I couldn't tell you about one of my evenings.
Sure.
So I read it and I was like, well, that was nice, but how much of it was true? And it was her own history that she was writing.
Oh, yeah. Because I think the only things that I remember from my own history are, like, if there was a home video of it.
Yeah.
Or if it's a story that I've told a bunch of times. And at this point, how much of that story is even true?
Mm-hmm. Because that will evolve every time you tell it.
So I'm definitely never writing... If I'm writing a memoir, it's having a big disclaimer. But I guess, like...
The fictitious history.
I feel like a lot of that is... I think there's a certain level of, like, objectivity, subjectivity that other people just take for granted. And that it's like a weird thing where you and I have thought about it. And now because we thought about it, we can't unflip that switch. But if we never did, if we never stopped to, like, question, like, if we never watched the movie Rashomon, then, like, we would never have learned to question it, and maybe we would understand other stuff more fully. Like, I think you and me and a lot of other people, we have, like, a very strong, like, meta understanding, but we understand a lot about something, but don't necessarily understand the thing. You know what I mean?
Like, we understand everything around it.
Yeah. It's like a swing set, and you swing too far, and you go over to the other side, and your skin turns inside out.
Okay. I mean, that's an interesting analogy. Maybe work on that, do a rewrite, and then...
See? You can't think about what I'm saying. You can only think about the manner in which I'm presenting it.
Dan's running a little late. He just texted me that he had to stop and pump up his bicycle tire, which I assume is a euphemism for something. So Christy and I just definitely locked in on our Halloween costume idea, and suck a dick, dumb shits, because it's a pun-based one. And I know that there are pun-based Halloween costume haters out there. On his podcast recently, Dan Harmon sounded off against pun-based Halloween costumes. His position, I think, was that they're sort of socially hostile. But I don't think that's always necessarily true, and let me explain. Okay, so Christy and I, our costume is, we are going to be a dog and a cat with crowns and scepters, and the joke is, we are reigning cats and dogs. Pause for laughter, pause for laughter, pause for laughter, pause for laughter, pause for laughter. Pause for uproarious laughter, just building into just this climax of uncontrollable mirth as people just laugh at putting the two and two things together. That is what I'm talking about. It's pleasurable, okay? You know, you're at the Portsmouth Halloween parade, you see me and Christy with our costumes, and you look at us, and then I say to you, we're raining cats and dogs. And then you take that image in your head and you combine it with the words that you're hearing, and the joy comes from you figuring it out. First, I give you the 2 plus x equals 5, then I tell you what x equals. It's visual algebra, motherfucker, and it's fun.
This is a message from the Boston University Alert Service to Zachary Little. Police activity is ongoing in the area of Bay State Road and Silver Way. There is no threat in the area at this time. Please continue to avoid the area until further notice. The sender left the following contact information.
So it's Thanksgiving Day. Christy and I are getting ready here. We're hosting a dinner for just a couple of our friends in the area. I'm sawing 6 inches off one of our stools so that we'll have enough seats for everybody to sit at our table, which is 2 tables pushed together. We may not be fully equipped, but we are fully accommodating. It's Friendsgiving, which is a term I could have sworn I came up with a couple years ago. But based on its use, around the world, I guess I didn't. But then again, you should never underestimate the amount of change that you can create in the world. Maybe it was me. It's just after midnight on Christmas Day. I'm standing in my in-laws' backyard. I don't know if you can hear this, but I can hear the stream way out in the woods. I can hear the water. Here's what each room I was in on Christmas Day sounded like.
Tofu scramble.
Plate next to your father. Oh, I'll get you a nice coffee.
Cool.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That look good with those shiny pants.
Yep.
They can't find the car. And we had a hard time to find the car since after I sent you home.
The name of Scrooge's deceased business partner in a Dickens Christmas Carol.
Marley.
Marley was right.
It's Marley.
Marley.
Whoa!
Also, what were they?
You know what David Reeves' punk band was called in high school?
No.
It was called The Bloody Fist of Defiance. Siri, at some point remind me to lay out the evidence for my theory that there are actually between 4 and 6 property brothers. Dan's here now. Hey, Dan. So I'm starting a podcast, and I decided, how am I going to get around, first episode jitters of a podcast? And I decided I will record the 3rd episode of the podcast first. So this is actually episode 3, which I am recording first. Good idea or bad idea?
Hey, that is an excellent idea.
Okay, I'm glad that you think so. So by the time that this episode airs, it'll probably be, it could be early 2016 even. So, what do you think you will be up to by the time people are hearing episode 3 of what I'm tentatively calling Zach Little's Untitled podcast, title to come later.
Well, I'm hoping that people will listen in to the two of us as we satirize the spectacle that becomes the New Hampshire primary.
Oh, that is probably something I should do with this podcast around that time. That's a very good idea. Okay, yeah.
I talked to Dan for a little longer. Never ended up going into the library. Didn't get a new book. Just walked home with Shosh. But I couldn't stop thinking about what Dan had said. Politics. Should I get into them on this show? Should I head into that particular heart of darkness? Next time on the last podcast.
With heavy snow, wind, and ice forecasted throughout New Hampshire today, we're ready to respond to any power outages quickly.
This episode of the last podcast featured the voices of Chelsea Fisher, Dan Freund, and assorted members of the Little, CV, and Perkins families. The music in this episode was composed by Pilot Season, except for this, which is by Nick Diamonds. To support this podcast, rate it and comment it on iTunes and tell other people to listen to it. We'll have other ways to support it soon. Thanks for listening. See you next week.